A Grave Situation. Art and Poem by Sarah Slaughter. A woman who met death was buried beneath the ground with a tall, impressive tombstone from the day that she had been drowned. Though her final breath in silence had carried her away, she felt angry in the graveyard, mounted by every passing day. Till finally one cold evening, when the sun was just to set, she clawed her way up through the dirt to rise with plans to vet. Emerging from the ground, with clothing torn and stained, she looked towards the metal gate, where a white bicycle was chained. The white bicycle was never made for a skeleton to ride it, but with each and every pedal she fearlessly defied it. With deep hollow sockets and a delightfully bony grin, she went off on her adventure, fueled by something from within. Her bony fingers gripped the bars as she focused straight ahead, moving fast towards the city, every whisper filled with dread. The first place that she rode to had memories woven deep, the home where she had lived her life and where she used to sleep. Her husband's car was in the front, and she stopped with full delight. Placing nails beneath the wheel, 4 punctures start the night. The second place that she rode to was a quiet home backyard, where all the guests had partied, so the task was not that hard. She dipped her bony fingers into a giant pot of glue. She sealed each lock around the house and glued the hinges too. Jumping back onto the bicycle, her next spot was in sight. A mere few blocks just down the road, her timing seemed quite right. The late-night bar was closing, and as the drunk men staggered out, she rode fast round the corner, just to make them shout. The sound that all her bones did make, with each and every turn, were not familiar to their ears, and made their stomachs churn. Laughing as she rode through lights, with drunken men behind, she aimed to do her final task, with sunrise on her mind. Her final stop was at an office, where all her colleagues worked. Knowing where to find the hidden keys, she entered with a smirk. She snuck around the office with laxatives in hand, and dropped a tab in every drink with the hope it would taste bland. With the dark sky turning yellow, she hopped back on the bike, heading straight back to the graveyard with satisfactions she did like. Now, maybe you are wondering why on earth she'd been so mean. Well, like so many other stories, you must understand the scene. Her husband was so loving throughout those countless years, and her friends had been quite perfect by calming many fears. Everyone she worked with had been an absolute delight. All her days above the ground had always felt so right. One would think that being dead and deeply underground would be blissful peace and quiet without the daily sounds. But all the noisy footsteps on her graveside every day drove her absolutely crazy in every single way. Though pranks and ploys seemed wicked, they were born by good intent. With each of them immobile, she could sleep and be content.